Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. Can't believe it. We're here again. Brazzicle's lockdown live cooking for a couple of weeks, 3-4 weeks hopefully. But let's do this, smash it out. Hope you guys are all well, and I hope you're excited for this one because I know I am. Tonight we're going to do a soya milk hot pot. I think this is a really great dish, purely because it's a one-pan cooking, which is great. Everybody loves one-pan cooking. Simple, one dish, very little less, hopefully, all in one pan. Beautiful. It's one of those things that takes a little bit of time to prepare, but takes maximum 20 minutes just to cook, depending on how many you're cooking for. So we're cooking for about 3 to 4 yeah. But ultimately, it's so packed full of flavour with the miso and the soya, which is great. So we'll start in a minute shortly. We're just going to go through some of the ingredients.
Mandy Flutterby says it's like you never left.
Well, you've got all my recipes laminated, so that's not a surprise. So what we've got here, we've got, if you've been able to already, you should have the shiitake mushrooms. If you're using fresh, that's fine. If you're using dried, if they're whole, what you need to do is just cut that little stem out, which I'll show you, which I can't show you because I want to take them all out. But you want to cut that little stem out. If you're using the wild mushroom ones, that's also fine. I said dried mushrooms in the recipe, so whichever ones you've got, if they're already cut, that's absolutely cool. Then we've got a Japanese mouli. Okay, it looks like it's like a big long radish is essentially what it is.
It's a white carrot thingy.
Yeah, like a big white carrot, as my wife says. Okay, then we've got carrots. I couldn't get hold of any leeks because I forgot to get them. So I'm using white onions, peppers, spring onions, Chinese cabbage, firm tofu, edamame beans, bacon, miso, mirin and soy sauce. And then the liquid that we soaked the mushrooms in is here. And then I've got the soya milk as well. A little bit of salt and of course a bonito powder.
With the miso, does it matter what colour miso you've got? I know there are more than one.
Not really, I think there's white, brown and red, I believe. Then we're using brown miso. I think it just kind of varies on the depth of the flavour. White misos are quite a bit lighter, and as you get darker they become a bit more intense with that kind of soy paste. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll start with prepping the vegetables first. So we'll take the onions or leeks. If you've got the leeks, I'll tell you what I'll do, I'll prep the carrot first because the leeks got to be prepped in the same way. So your leeks, you just want to take just the white part of the leek, okay, and you just want to cut them, take the ends off, take the outside leaves, first few layers off, and you want to just cut them into sort of coins about such and such a thickness, okay. Okay, and then basically with the carrots, you're going to do the exact same thing. All right, nice and simple.
Jimmy says stress.
Jimmy, you'll be fine. I'm sure you're well prepared. You know, because you've had loads of time to get prepared. You know, using this excuse about being at work is rubbish. Okay, if you couldn't get hold of any leek and you're using onion, I'm just going to cut the root out, and I'm just going to cut it about so thick lengthways. Okay. Same again with this one.
Ben Flan says hola.
Is Ben joining in with the cooker?
He hasn't said.
Right. He can't be at work because it's dark now and he works outside. So that's fine. Okay. And then what we'll do next, we'll take, so that's the leeks and carrots. Then the cabbage, I said about a quarter of a cabbage, but depending on the size, I have quite a big cabbage as you can see, so I'm using about 3 leaves. If they're a bit small, you want about 6. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut it there, and I'm going to cut it in half.
Is there a vegetable you could substitute if you couldn't get the Chinese cabbage?
You can either just add extra of the other ingredients, that's fine, or you could just use a different type of cabbage, maybe a spring cabbage or a sweetheart cabbage. I mean, maybe, I don't know, quite, maybe baby jet lettuce as well, which is a bit nice, but has a similar texture. Okay, and then just go back to the cabbage, just going to cut it quite chunky. Okay. Right. And then with the stem ends, I'm just going to cut it into 3. And again, quite chunky. Because this is the thing about if you cut everything too small, every mouthful you're going to eat later is just going to be a bit horrible. And this way it gives a little bit of texture and so on. Because you're not adding, we don't use any rice or any noodles with this because it's just, it doesn't really need it. But you need something to just give a bit of variety and a bit of mouthful. Okay. The moulin, if you've only got, I've got a couple of messages which were, I can't get a hold of this, but if you've only got normal radishes, just take the little green ends off and cut them in half. But if you're fortunate enough and you were able to get a moulin, we're just going to cut them in half lengthways and then in half again.
No moolies didn't grow in the garden.
Try it. So once you've got like 4 little quarters like that, you're going to cut them about such and such a thickness. Okay. Just with this, you just need to think about what things are going to take the longest. Okay, because they're the ones that need to go in first. Okay. Particularly like the carrot and so on is the first thing. So what we should have first is leeks, then carrots and the cabbage and the mouli, and then you also want the pepper as well. So with the pepper, I've just cut it just to get myself a little bit ready. But again, I want to cut them into fairly sort of decent sized pieces again, so you get a nice bit of texture. Okay, so I've just taken that in half and half again, and I'm just going to cut it like that, sort of roughish, sort of chunky pieces. Okay, not real any sort of special size. Okay, in particular shape, just rustic, nice and simple. Okay, lovely. Let's go and need a bigger chopping board.
Like the ones you have at work?
Yeah, I know. They're massive though. So out of place. Okay, so.
Is this like a meal you'd have in a restaurant, or is it like a home cooked meal for Japanese people?
I think a bit of both really. You can, I think it could be adapted in both ways. I mean, I don't know, I can't remember if we even did we have this in Japan, Emily? Do you remember?
I don't think so. We had shabu shabu.
Yeah, which is a similar kind of premise where it's a pot of stewed vegetables in the beginning, and that's in a big bowl, and usually it's cooked on the stove in front of you, which is delicious. So hopefully now you should have your leeks, your mouli, your peppers, carrots and cabbage cut. Don't worry too much if not, just carry on as well. So what we're going to do now is basically we're going to get a biggest saucepan, okay? You want something with a nice wide base, okay? If you haven't got a biggest saucepan and you're cooking for 3-4 people, maybe split it between 2 pans, and then what you're basically going to do is divide everything you've got in half and then just add it to the 2 pans. But I've got one decent sized pan here. So into the pan, what we're going to do is we're going to add the stock. So this is the 600 mils of the boiling water that was used to cook the mushroom, to steep the mushrooms. If you're using fresh mushrooms, you can use water, or if you've got it, you can use dashi. But if you're vegetarian, obviously don't use dashi.
Jason asks if you'd cook this for family. Is this something you would cook for family meal at work?
Is this Chef Jason?
Yes.
Oh, Chef, you know I'd cook anything for you. No, gladly. I think we did this as a vegetarian option. I think actually we did it over rice, which went really well. But I would gladly do this for family meal because this is a great dish.
Oishi.
And Ben Flan is cooking along next week.
Oh yeah. Everyone's cooking along next week. So into the pan, I'm going to put the stock, the leeks, the mouli, the pepper, and the carrots. Okay, preferably you need a pan with a lid. Okay.
Jason says, love you, mate.
Love you too, chef.
So you don't have to fry it or anything?
No. And that's just going to go on the stove. Okay, so pop all those in there and you want a lid on top of them. And that's that. So while that's warming up, we're just going to prepare the rest of the other ingredients. So with the mushrooms, so if you're using the little round mushrooms that are prepared like this, what I've done is basically you have a little stem in the middle and I've just cut either side of the stem. And that little stem bit you just need to throw away because it's really tough. If they're fresh mushrooms at work, we always pull them out because they're awful, but they're great for stocks and don't waste them. Put them in with some vegetables and use it as a veg stock. Okay, so that's your mushrooms. The bacon, all I've done is I've just cut them sort of about this sort of size all the way along, so you get a nice big chunky piece of bacon. Cabbage. So just a quick recap: peppers, onions, leeks, carrots, cabbage into the pan with the 600 mils of the stock from the mushrooms with the lid on top. We're just going to get that cooking. We're going to cook that for about 10 minutes.
To make this vegetarian, you just leave out the bacon.
Yeah, you'd also leave out the dashi powder to make it vegetarian.
You can get a veggie dashi, can't you?
Yeah, you can, which is basically it's just a combo, I believe, which is lovely. So next, the spring onions. All I want is I just want the green part, so I've just cut them in half. I just want that, and then again, you're just going to cut that end off, and then you're going to trim the tops of them, which have gone a bit brown, a bit wizened, and then you're just going to cut them in half again, so you've got nice chunky batons. Okay. The edamame beans, I've just got them potted already. Okay. Nice little bowl of them, nice and simple. Now the tofu, hopefully you've got firm tofu. If you haven't, it's not the end of the world, but the firm tofu is a bit better. And we're just going to, again, we're going to cut it into sort of a similar size as everything else. So with the tofu, just going to cut it in half. Okay. And then cut them as big or as small as you want, really. I like them quite a fairly nice size, you know, so you get a nice bit of texture. So I'm just going to cut them in half, and then each half into half. Nice, of course. Get nice big pieces of chunky tofu, which is lovely. Okay, and it looks, you know, all fills the plate up, which is great. Okay, so I'm going to pop that on there. Again, like I said, it's something you can do in advance. You know, you could have all this stuff. You've got friends coming over when lockdown finishes, and you want to make something really simple. This is it. This is just simplicity.
It's great for autumn, winter as well, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. You know, and if you think, oh, it really needs a carbohydrate, then cook some rice, have it over rice, put it on the side, or make some egg fried rice. If you've got any rice left over from the day before, make a little bit of egg fried rice and put it with it. It's delicious. Next, what we're going to do is, in a bowl, in my wife's lovely cat bowls, because cats.
And Japan.
And Japan.
They were made in Japan.
They are indeed. We're going to put about 4 tablespoons of miso. And then to that, we're going to add the 2 tablespoons of mirin and the 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. Okay? Just going to give that a gentle mix. Okay? Just going to form it so it makes a nice little paste. As nice as these bowls are, they're not practical for mixing.
I think they're meant to be like rice bowls.
Yes.
Not mixed bowls.
Clearly.
But they're cute.
They are cute. Kawaii and all that.
Kawaii.
Okay, so there we go. So if I know some people might think, oh, I don't really like soya milk, but I don't really like soya milk to drink. I would never drink it instead of milk. I would never order a coffee made with soya milk because I don't really think it's, if you have coffee normally, to be honest. But if you really don't like the taste of soya milk, which I think this dish really, really needs, you can always substitute it for almond milk or any kind of nut milk, or it's absolutely fine. You could do it with normal milk if you really wanted to, but I don't think it really will kind of have the same. And if it's because it needs to be quite thick, so you'd have to use whole milk, otherwise it would be quite a loose kind of flavour and it won't really come together.
Milk has a really distinctive flavour as well.
Yeah. And also because obviously this is soya based and the milk's soya based, it works really well. So in there, in that bowl, we've got the miso and the mirin and the sake and the soy sauce, sorry. I'm just going to pour a little bit of the 600 mils of soy sauce in it.
Soy milk,
Sorry, in it.
Ollie sent a love heart face and sorry that he's late.
That's fine, man. I know you're working. But it's cool. This is why YouTube was invented, for people like me to be able to very kindly, with the assistance of my brother, put this on YouTube. And then it will be up on, hopefully Monday. I'll send it to my brother tonight. It'll be down to my brother, hopefully do it over the weekend. Although actually I did get some, so I got some lovely comment from my brother the other day, telling me he had joined a cult, which of course at first did spark alarm bells, but he basically has found him and 14 other people from all over the world are Zooming with the Zoom app and are cooking my recipes, which I think is so incredible. And I've been very kindly asked to be a guest speaker to my own recipes on Sunday, so I'm really looking forward to that. But yeah, I'm excited. So
This will also go up on Instagram afterwards.
yeah. The only thing is you can't fast forward and so on. So all we got in there is getting nice and hot, okay, and cooking. So once these have cooked and they're getting soft, we're going to start adding the other ingredients. So with all of this, it's going to cook for about 10 minutes, probably needs another 5 or so, get it on a nice high heat, okay, and then you've got the other ingredients ready. I'm just going to use a nice little bowl and serve this in, okay. I'm going to put a little bit of salt, just to bring out the flavour.
I saw a kawaii hot pot on Facebook today. I think it was Gudetama, was like the lid part. I am tempted to purchase said hot pot.
Okay, nice little. So, hopefully now, guys, at this point, in your pan, you should have your stock from your mushrooms, your leeks, your peppers, your carrots, and your cabbage. That should be all cooking nicely with the lid on. Then in the bowl, you should have a little splash of the soy milk, the miso paste, soy sauce, and the mirin. And then you should have all that's left is the edamame beans, the batons of spring onions, the bacon, the mushrooms, and the tofu, and then the bonito powder. Okay? So, I'm going to put the bonito powder into it now. Again, if you're vegetarian, obviously you don't need to add this. Okay? And that'll give a nice, really lovely umami hit, which I know how much my good friend Ollie Lowe loves umami. Okay? You always just take, you always want to make sure you check the carrots first. They're lovely, they're just cooked. So now, we're going to add the rest of the ingredients apart from the spring onions and the edamame beans.
Michaela Ballard's just joined. She forgot it was on. She said, is it going to be recorded? Which we've already
Yeah, we will. So in here I'm going to add the bacon.
Mandy thinks that dashi powder smells like fish food.
It pretty much does, to be fair.
Do you remember that sake we had that had the dried fish in it? When we were at Hyper Japan.
Oh yeah, when we did that, 1 year we did the sake tasting. That year.
No, it was a different time. Then we had a load of free drinks, and then we went to the sake bit, and it was a shot of sake with like a dried sprat in it.
Well, my grandmother always said what's eaten is forgotten, so now I don't remember that.
Oh, Marie says for her equivalent of a vegetarian dashi, she uses kombu in with the mushrooms to soak.
Yeah, that could work as well.
Dashi powder.
Yeah, that's the same principle as making a dashi, and that would work really well, Okay, So obviously what we're adding in there, the tofu's already cooked, the bacon's not going to take very long to cook at all, and the mushrooms are already prepared and soaked and everything like that. So now, this part's really important. You want to turn it down low, okay? And you're going to add all your miso paste. Okay, so that's your miso, a little splash of the soya milk, soy and mirin, and that's that. And give that a little mix, okay? That's what you should have some in this as well. Okay, really nice. So everything's all in there, all nice and cooked. Beautiful, and it's just gone slightly brown because of the miso. Now the reason I say put it onto a low heat, and this is really, really important, okay, is you don't want to boil this, okay? If you boil it, when you added the cream, the milk, sorry, the soy milk, it's going to split out and it's going to look awful, okay?
Now has the bacon gone in?
Yeah, so all your ingredients, apart from your spring onions and your edamame beans, is in the pot now, okay? They've just been added shortly. Okay. Right, now I'm going to just boil my little kettle. Still boiling? Yeah, it's still hot. This is just for me. If you're serving this in bowls for family, then you can use this opportunity, boil a kettle and warm your vessel, whichever you're using for this. And it's nice and hot for everybody, which is always a bonus. Okay, so once you've added these ingredients, it's just coming up to simmer. Okay, now is the time to add your soy milk. Okay, really important. Don't let it boil now. Do not like really vigorously boil because it will ruin everything. Okay, it will still taste amazing, but it just won't look as nice. So what you get here is a nice, rich, creamy vegetable stew with everything in it. Okay.
It smells so good.
Yeah. And at this point as well, once soy milk in, you can add your spring onions and your edamame beans. Okay. Just gonna check it for seasoning. Okay, nice little mix. Nice little mix. So I've got this on just a medium to low heat. I'm just going to very gently, with a lid on, warm it up ever so slightly. So we're not far ready from serving. Lean down. Okay. So everything's in there now, all your ingredients should be in there, which is great. Just coming up slowly to heat. I'm going to empty this out. Nice and hot. And then on warm. There. And obviously you want this hot enough to eat, but obviously not to boil. Like I said, everything's cooked in there now. You don't have to worry. Bacon will be cooked. Tofu's already cooked. Mushrooms are really nice. So it's just when you just see a few bubbles just coming up to the side, because obviously it will heat up from the outside first. It's ready to go. Or you can stick your finger in and make sure it's hot enough. But let's not do that.
That's not safe.
No, that is not safe. And not hygienic.
And that.
Could you serve with noodles if you wanted to?
You could, yeah. I mean, you could kind of adapt this into sort of a soya hot pot ramen kind of idea. That there's nothing wrong with that. That could work really well, actually.
Be nice with udon noodles.
Yeah, it would be nice. Again, udon noodles, nice big thick texture. That'd be really good, really good. Right, I think we're ready now, guys. So, like I said, don't let it boil. Okay, so there we have it. Can take a nice spoonful of the veg out first and the meats. Put them right in the centre. I'm going to put this in the middle of my table. Just serve it as is, like so. Really lovely. Again, you can add other ingredients to this. You want to put some sesame seeds in it or something like that, or some chopped chives. That's lovely. Okay. And there we have it, guys. Really simple soya milk hot pot.
Mandy says it smells delicious.
It's so nice. I mean, when we made this, and actually it was Lauren at work who kind of looked at this, found this recipe, and I thought, well, this is a really nice. We did a vegetarian, and so it's actually credit to Lauren for finding this for me. But I just adapted it slightly just to make it my own, and I think it's just so nice. It smells good. You know, it can be adapted in so many different ways. I think it's absolutely stunning. So that's going to be ready for us.
And next time we go to Japan, we'll try it there.
Yeah. So that's the end of this one. Can't believe it. Another one down. Now, as promised, you voted on either the two dishes, which was either the black cod ramen or the tempura donburi, and you asked for tempura donburi, so that's what we're going to do next week. I've been reluctant to do this, if I can be honest, because it requires a deep fryer. If you haven't got a deep fryer, that's absolutely fine. I don't. I'm going to use a wok and put vegetable oil in it. It's just my biggest fear is just being sure everyone's safe. But a good tool, if you can get it, if you've got a Chinese supermarket or a cookery shop or something like that, get yourself something like this, or a spider they're called. So it's a bit easier to take it out and we fry all the vegetables with tempura with rice. Okay, we'll do that for next week. And get yourself some paper towels, because we're going to need to put the different vegetables and the fish on top of it. Okay, so that'll be next week. As usual, ingredients go live on Monday, on my usual forum on Instagram. So again, have any questions, please?
The method for this will go up
Tomorrow. Okay, ready? So that will be all done tomorrow, and then hopefully by Monday, the YouTube will be updated as well with this one as well. So cool, I hope this was good, guys. I hope you enjoy eating it as much as I was making it. I can't eat it. Super hungry. And I will hopefully see you guys next week. So take care, have a lovely evening, enjoy the meal, post your pictures, tag me. It'd be good to see your creations and how it's come about, and let me know what you think. All right, take care everybody, see you later. Bye.